And welcome back to the Off the Clock Show. You're joined once again with your host, Shawn Gervais from OrbisX, and we've got Marty, Mr. Marshall Hill from hyperClean Car Care Products, as well as the Pints of Polishing podcast. And we are finally reconnecting here again. Ooh, what is that?
Well, that little Tito's,
Holy shit. Okay.
little Tito's in there with, it's something I've had before, but it's fun. I found one again, so I'm going to do it. Manzanita Soul. It's a used to be a very hard to find apple soda here, but now we can find it. But it used to be one that I could only find when we'd go to Mexico. So it was very special to be able to grab one. But yeah, really delicious. They're cool. You ever apple sodas? You ever drink you ever gotten into that type of stuff?
I didn't before. And then recently we had a gathering and a bunch of people came over, and I was, in preparation for them coming over, I went out and got a ton of different types of drinks, just random stuff. And everybody brought things. Usually people just show up to our house and empty-handed, so we just serve them. But in this case, everyone brought stuff. So they didn't end up drinking their stuff. And instead I spent the whole night making cocktails, and they left everything behind. So I'm telling you, I've been trying more unique stuff. It's kind of awesome, right?
It basically tastes like an apple Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, I was about to say one that was left behind. It's so funny you say that, actually, because I told my wife, I said it tastes like if they made an apple Lifesavers. I don't know if you remember Lifesavers, like fucking 100 years old. Yeah, but man, right on, man. Yeah, me today. I haven't actually had an opportunity. So look at my coffee cup. Terrible, Jesus.
Still drinking coffee, huh?
Yeah, I'm on my fifth one today.
Shawn, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Come on.
Yeah. This is true. However, after this, I have to run to the store for my daughter and return some shit. And the roads here are icy. We got hit with some weather that's just it's brutal. Yeah, I hate these kind of days because for me it's no big deal to drive around, but a lot of the cars we service, the daily driver type things, a lot of these people they're just terrified to, they get off the highway after work all week, everything. They're white knuckles. They're scared of the roads, and then when it's like get my car detailed, they're like, I think I got to postpone until next week, and then we got to hit them with next week doesn't work. I'm sorry, but yeah, so yeah, it happens. How about you guys for the weather?
Oh, dude, we're having some of the best winter weather I've had in years. It's 60 degrees, man. We've been having a 60-degree over last week and this week, 50s and 60s for our winter. We're struggling over here in our winter, man. 60 degrees, man. It's fucking brutal.
Jesus, yeah, I'm jealous. Could be worse. I was on a call earlier today in Guanajuato, and I was asking him, like, hey, I know I don't want to hear the answer, but how's the weather? Tell me it's been chilly, He looks outside. He's like, it's not too bad. I was like, yo, stop, man. Yeah. It's like sunny. It's beautiful. They have a big fair they're preparing for in a city nearby called Leon. It's a huge fair, actually. But, they got Leon. They make a lot of shoes there.
I've been.
That's right, man. Jeez, yeah. Awesome. Yeah. But
the best part, the funniest part about the fucking, and they make incredible boots, shoes. They are known for it. And so it was so hilarious as we would go to help pull out teeth, and there was pastors and these religious leaders that would smuggle, and they would set up these meetings to be able to get this. They know it was illegal to take back, but
yeah, they were like,
they got to get what they got to get,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you do you. Yeah. And they show up at church wearing their fancy boots that they smuggled in.
Jesus, but man, the quality is astounding, and it's one of those things, and quality shoes, like they're your feet, and especially we both know, working as detailers and stuff, it's one of those things, man. You think of I need a nice polisher, I need this, that, all these things, but there's other parts of your job that you gotta. That's not a tip, by the way. That's not a tip.
It's not. I mean, you got to take care of your feet, but the endangered animals that were killed so that the pastor could wear boots was more of what I was referring to.
Oh, yeah. That's
what I was referring to. Yes, buy good shoes. No, don't smuggle in illegal animal skins on your feet just because you want to.
Good call. Yeah, you don't need those to detail. Okay, gotcha. I totally missed the point of that message.
Totally missed the point of that one. All good. Oh, man. Hey, you seen any good posts? I've seen one. This is one that I thought was awesome. Even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. And it's a quote from Will Rogers. Here in Oklahoma, we're Will Rogers fans. Actually have a a good friend from high school that his family line came from Will Rogers. So
No way.
big fans. Yeah. They, needless to say, they still have a lot of money rolling through that family, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Is what it is, but yeah, man, it's a great quote, right? Like, even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. And I think it's very beneficial for people, like, especially in today's times.
Yeah.
If you keep doing the same thing that you thought, here's why I have to say it, is because I have had phone calls also. And we've had to have phone calls. There's a guy that I had a phone call with that is now becoming a national trainer for a coating company because his detailing business went out of business.
Damn.
Literally within the last month.
Shit. That's
and now
crazy.
he's going to be a trainer for a coating company. But his business failed. And what he told me, I didn't know. I didn't know that it was changing. All of a sudden, people just stopped calling. I didn't know. Well, he kept doing the same thing over the past years because the people he was buying his coatings from just kept telling him, you're doing a great job. Keep doing this. I didn't know. Well, you kept doing the same thing. You might have been on the right track, but you're doing the same thing. And so you eventually get run over. It's a great quote from Will. It is.
Yeah, no, and it rings so true. I think that it's one of those things that, I mean, we've been saying it on almost every episode that, like, guys, the market's changing. The market is doing this. The market is that. And even if you don't think it's changing, take a look around. Things are changing all over the place, And well, it's funny because I saw a post too along the same lines now that I think about it, but it was Gary Vee, and he was talking about Disneyland and how they're scrapping the cost for the photos, right?
Yeah, I talked about that yesterday on our episode.
No shit.
That was my buy. We do a buy and sell, and that was mine. Is how awesome that Disney has started doing this. They're a customer-centric focused company anyway, and then now to take away the $8 fees that they charge to take photos. Yeah, go ahead, but exactly. Awesome.
It's along the same lines, and so they do something like that. And if you're not paying attention to what's going on in all different forms of business, that's a sign. It doesn't matter if you're just checking only your industry, is what I'm trying to say, is that, like, if you're only looking at, like, oh, well, the detailing industry seems to be mostly the same, you're not going to see the little undercurrents, the waves that are coming, because someone else like myself, I'm watching all different industries, and I see something like that change, and I'm like, what could I change in my business? It gets me to think inward, think about the business. We have meetings, we start doing little changes because we're customer focused, and then our competitors, they're just trucking along, doing the same thing. And they're using some of those other coating companies we're referring to. And they're being told the same thing. Keep doing this, keep doing that. And it's crazy to think, like, if you're going to just keep doing the same thing. My dad, he was a high school teacher. He had a big quote in his classroom, and he used to say it to me every day. And when I was a kid, I used to be so mad when he would say it to me, because I was always doing the same stupid shit. And he would tell me, son, if you want to keep getting what you're getting, keep doing what you're doing. And that was it. And that's basically the same thing, is that, and I used to hate it because he used to tell me these stupid things like, focus on the donut and not the hole, and these like fucking riddles I had to figure out. That's how he gave me advice, was things like that. But then later in life, you start to realize shit, and you're like, geez, I was, if you're doing the same shit, you're going to keep getting the same shit. So you got to change. And then the focus on the donut and not the hole. He said, basically explained it to me later. He's like, it's how you look at problems, and he said, a lot of times people, they'll see something missing and they just focus, they zero in on the missing part of the donut. And because there's a hole there, when they're missing the delicious, outer ring that's around, And so he said, just change your focus, and then you're going to see different.
You do Krispy Kreme? Are you a Krispy Kreme guy? Do they have
no. So we have Tim Hortons here is like the big deal, right? And so a lot of people do Tim Hortons. Me, I'm not a huge donut person, but I always laugh at one thing, though, because there's a big difference. The center of the donut, the little circle, right? I've heard them referred to as donut holes. Yeah. So here we call them Timbits. So it's because Tim Hortons, but then they're bits of the donut. So they're Timbits. And then Justin Bieber came out, he sponsored or whatever his own, or they sponsored him, I don't know, his own. So they're Tim Biebs. That's what they're called. And so you can get little donuts. The flavors he chose, sorry, Biebs, but they taste horrible. my daughter.
I didn't know Biebs was a Canadian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, actually, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Not too far from the city I live in, too. Yeah.
You went to a lot of his concerts growing up, huh?
All of them. Actually, you know what? As embarrassing as this is, And you know what? People can laugh, and you're going to laugh for sure. I did go to one of his concerts with my daughter.
Oh, yeah, you did.
The concert, no joke. He's actually a phenomenal performer.
Oh,
I was, anyways.
I bet.
However, I was there. I was maybe like one of 12 guys in the whole place. Everything else, just like, teenage women. My wife was there. They got a sign made, but then my daughter was too tired to hold it up. So I had to hold the sign, holding the bedazzled sign that says, "We love you, Justin." No joke. No joke. There's probably cell phone footage of me somewhere else.
Brutal. Don't think I'd admit that ever again, even though we're off the clock.
Yeah, yes, I won't. See, I was focusing on the donut, not the hole. That's what happened. But yeah, so anyway, the post with Gary Vee got me thinking about, different things to change in our business and stuff. But on that note, okay, so I know we are pressed for time today, which is okay. So let's dive into the tips. If not, I'm going to give 12 tips.
Straight to the tip. Skip there.
To the tip, just straight to. Yeah. And you want to go first? You want me to do the honors?
Can you drive stick?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, but I can learn.
Oh, yeah.
You know that movie quote? Movie quote. Anybody want a movie quote? Boys in the Hood.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Jesus. Going back a ways. Holy shit, man.
Can you drive stick? Nah, but I can learn. That's the tip. Can you drive stick? I don't know. Because I talked about the guy earlier that he's in trouble. He's now had to close everything down. And stick shift driving is, right, manual. Right? Takes a little bit of work. A lot of people are used to being in automatic mode. Things just happen. It's wonderful during great economy, right? That's why I said for years on the Pints of Polish podcast, it's the best time ever to be a detailer. It was the best time to be in business in general. It was amazing. You pretty much be an automatic. It was a big reason why I took the opportunity to go from a distribution company just in Oklahoma to this is such an amazing time for business. How do I become a national brand? So I took the time in the best time ever to build that. But some people, just as Will Rogers said, just kept doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Automatic driving is wonderful. Automatic business is wonderful. It's great during great economies. But many times you got to learn how to drive stick shift. Many times you're going to need to, instead of allowing somebody else to shift gears, or for this guy, now he's got a boss that's telling him to shift gears.
Yeah.
Right? Jeez. You might ought to learn how to manually shift gears yourself. Put in the clutch. Learn how to move the gear. Right?
Yeah.
Manual transmission, manual using of the vehicle, manual using of business. The tip to me is really that. I don't know what else there is to say. As we have conversations with people and they go, yeah, but I've just been, or well, we just keep seeing. And it's like, you're right. Maybe it's time for you to learn another way. Stop going in automatic mode. How can you spend your time? What is the ways that you can work through different, right? There's so many different variables that go into shifting. There's so many different things. But if you don't ever get past how difficult it's going to be or how much time it's going to take, or you want to stay in the automatic lifestyle,
you're going to get crushed.
It might be brutal. I mean, one of the biggest things that we are starting to uncover as a company, since we're the only company with 40 plus years of experience in automotive detailing, well, we're coming to realize, as both Nick and I have grown our businesses out of maintenance, and as we continually tell people of maintenance, we're realizing that shift, right? Like that gear shift isn't always happening the right way, because we're hearing of, well, yeah, we're doing maintenance because the coating company told us that if the customer doesn't come back in once a year for maintenance, then their coating's void. Once a year is a maintenance. We heard about every quarter they come in. That's not maintenance.
Yeah.
Maintenance is having somebody keep their car in pristine condition so that they can enjoy their car life every week. At the most, every other week. the shift that needs to happen for so many people of getting out of this big. Oh yeah, well, what we do once a year, we're going to charge them. We charge $75, and we're in and out in 2 hours on 2 cars, and that's piddling around. Most of the time, my guys, well, if it's double, they're out and even faster than one. Well, we got one guy that'll go around hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes.
Perfect. Yeah.
$150. Maybe you should do that. Maybe one person should just go around, right? Like when I built my distribution company, it was built off of me maintaining people's cars every week so that I knew I had my core foundation built. Then all the other time that I had available in my week could go towards building distribution. So shit from big to $75, but I can get that $75 in an hour. I can get that $75 in actually 45 minutes. Yeah. So the profitability actually, as we're realizing from people that are now starting to shift, is they go, oh shit, yeah, I make more money that way.
100%. And it's a lot easier to scale that way too. It's more predictable for your revenue.
You don't have to use the word scale. It's just easy. Like, just go, it's a lot easier. Like your life's better. Like people are less stressed. Like everything's a bit like it's just better.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah. See, me, I like that. I know you got to run, but so I'll introduce my tip and we'll wish you bon voyage as well. But we'll see you again next week there, Marty. Definitely. So my tip follows along the same kind of lines where, there's some businesses that I've seen go out of business, and, I've constantly been making shifts, and I've been working with some, local shops near my shop, helping them out. They use OrbisX as well. And someone asked me a question. They said, well, aren't you worried that they were asking me basically if I'm going to limit OrbisX in their region to only their shop and stuff like that. And I said, you're looking at things the wrong way. And I said, you can always outwork them. And they were trying to automate their entire business too much and basically remove themselves from playing an active role. And in my position, that's shifting, but in the wrong direction. So people are trying to shift sometimes, but just willy-nilly, they're just, I'm going to just throw it from, first to fourth or whatever. They're just going all over the place. And it's like, guys, you gotta really plan out these kind of shifts. Right. And so I was listening to Seth Godin, and he was saying it best. And he was comparing the Hyatt hotel and Nike, the brand. And he was saying that, if Nike was to build a hotel, let's say, you could close your eyes and kind of envision.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Clean, there'll be a swoosh,
Exactly. And then, like the kind of energy that would be inside, you can kind of just picture that. But if Hyatt launched its own version of sneakers, you have no idea what the hell those sneakers are going to look like. Right. And it's because Hyatt's got a logo, but Nike's got a brand. And the reason Nike has a brand is because they put a lot of time and effort into building a real business, a true business, not a sort by price kind of business. And so I've always encouraged people actually to automate when it makes sense, but I'm a fan of actually automating less. That might be strange from a guy who built a software that's based on automation, based on artificial intelligence, doing all the stuff for you, but really it's to give you the assist. You still have to play a big role. And I see a lot of companies, they try and automate too much and remove themselves from it. The biggest thing you're losing from that is you're not going to find any flaws or gaps in your business in an easy way, as if you were talking to the customer. And so when you're doing these, shifts towards weekly and biweekly maintenance, you're seeing the customer more often. You're hearing from them. You're hearing about things that they're interested in, things that they didn't like about the last service, they like different, or so on and so forth. You're getting a lot of valuable feedback.
Let me ask you this question, because I heard it from a couple of people recently. They'll still spend their nights texting their customer to make sure the appointment is ready for the next day.
Yeah. And
is that the thing that they should be still doing, or is that something that should have been automated?
That's the kind of thing I would recommend being automated, unless you're doing a sample pool where maybe you want their new customers from a new source, like you put out a new type of Facebook ad or something like that, and you want to get some feedback on how their experience is going through that. Reaching out to those customers makes sense. Your existing customers, so on and so forth, that can all be automated.
Booking it, like they've already got an appointment. And I've heard that, and I just go, Yeah, I would think that you would want to just use OrbisX
100%.
to
And even
confirm
with
the appointment. And I mean,
Oh,
that
yeah.
would take me out of a lot of work.
And if you want a personal touch to it to help build your brand, we've even incorporated the ability to do it by voice. The system will call your customer. A voice will answer your customer and say, hey, just calling to confirm your appointment at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And they can either push 1 for yes or push 2 to reschedule, or they can even say, yes, I'm confirming. And then it'll confirm it automatically. That's definitely not something you should be doing for your business if possible. And as I mentioned, the only time we do it is if, you know, we're doing a new campaign and it's new customers. We want their feedback on how things are going so far. You know, how did you find us? What do you think of our booking process so far? Stuff like that. But that's a different kind of scenario. But yeah, automating those scenarios where it makes sense, you know, but customers choosing the right package and stuff. A lot of people want to try to, oh, I want them to click this on my website and then this and then this, and then drill down, and then they're going to come to the perfect package or maybe a package builder. It's not building a pizza. You know what I mean? They don't know the toppings they want or what they're hungry for. So you got to play a part in that. But awesome. So that's my tip for the day. Marty, I really appreciate your tip as well. I think they tie in well together. And so guys, make sure that take some time this year and make sure you're shifting in the right direction. Make sure you are shifting, or else, you know, you're going to be working for a coding company at some point. But yeah, so all the best, everybody, in 2023. We will see you next week. Absolutely, Marty, as always, appreciate your time. And
See ya.
classy, San Diego.